Welcome once again to the Hour Show on NED TV. Today we have in the studio a prominent man who actually led the coup of 1981 and brought former President Rawlings to power. In our previous segment, we spoke to Nana Addo Nyamiche. He mentioned various names, including the said man that we have in the studio. I was privileged to meet him in Ghana, and we spoke about his book, Rawlings, Murder and Lies. In his book, he narrates how the whole coup was orchestrated, the atrocities that were committed, and also the murder of the 3 judges, including the former major. All the way from Oslo, Norway, we welcome Mr. Matthew Adebuka to the studio.
Thank you.
Mr. Adebuka, welcome.
Thank you very much.
We're going to go through various aspects of your book, Rawlings, Murder and His Lies.
Yes.
How old were you when you joined the armed forces in Ghana?
I was about 15 years of age. You know, at that time, the boys' company or junior leaders, we are recruited when we are very young, and then we have a 3-year course in the military academy or armed forces university. So by the time you turn 18 years, you become a regular soldier.
Okay.
And that is why it was at a tender age.
All right. At what point did you meet Rawlings?
When I joined my mother unit, which is the Recce Regiment, Amo Reconnaissance Regiment at Gonda Barracks.
Okay.
We used to ride horse together.
All right.
Yeah.
And in your book, you actually narrated a story where Rawlings took some white women into the bushes, and when he came back,
yes,
he actually called you by a nickname.
Yes,
Young.
Yeah, because of my age. Yeah. You know, we used to ride these horses because it's part of our training.
All right.
When you join the Amo Recce Regiment, either you are a gunner, you'll be trained as a signaler, or you'll be trained as a driver, and the last one is equitation, which is horse riding.
Okay.
So you have to rotate the whole 4,
right,
and then you are mastered. Either you are a gunner signaler or a driver signaler.
Okay.
But the equitation is for ceremonial purposes, as you can see in the case of Sif June or Prince Harry, their wedding, those riding the horses.
Okay.
So we were trained
to do that. Since you were actually trained in a civil manner, in a way to defend your country, why the revolution in 1981?
It's a long story, but
let's summarize it in a way that we can. Yeah. Today, we're going to go through the hurdles, because we had the opportunity to meet Nana Addo Nyamiche.
Yes.
In his story, a lot of people criticized you for being a criminal, probably leading a revolution that was not necessary. Do you agree with those statements?
No, I do agree, because, like I said, no, there were so many factors that narrowed into it, and eventually I was caught at the last minute.
Why the revolution of 1981? Why did you? Because before even Rawlings met you, he was actually suspended from the army, wasn't he?
That's right.
So you actually planned the coup with only 3 men?
Yes.
Why?
We're 10,
Why?
Actually. Because, as I said, my relationship with Rawlings dated back from the time I entered the army as a horse rider.
Right.
He used to come there with some diplomatic corps, and this woman, Ajowiak, he was the instructor, and then we have a Fokwa, and then we have a lot of them. He was also playing polo, so we became acquainted there. And the 4th June, actually, he came to airport. I was stationed there, and then he used to come and then talk to me, Owusu Bempa, and the rest about how things are not going well. So by the time the 15th May came, they suspected me, and they sent me on leave, that I was always having dealings with him. And then when the 4th June came, he called me to be his bodyguard. So I was actually a leading escort anywhere he was going.
Okay, let's go back. 31st December 1981.
Yes.
Rollins, probably in your book, I'll quote you in your own book. In your book, you narrated that Rollins had actually told you that Liman, who was the former President Liman, was involved in the whole process, and he wanted you guys to take him off power and reinstate him back again.
That is true.
And you believed it?
To an extent, because at that time, taking into consideration my age, and then the fact that I went to the Achimota forest with Akatapore, who was a member, Chris Bukari Atim was there, Lidu Jiwa was there.
So he convinced all of you?
Yes, because when we were at the Achimota forest, a kind of car, a limousine, came and passed into the forest. And then Akatapore and Rollins and Atim excused us, and they went inside. So myself, Jiwa, Albert Baffa, Ajowiak, Jack Mahoney, we were waiting. And then when they came back, they managed to convince us that they went and met Dr. Liman. And he was saying that his own party people are making it difficult for him to govern. You heard that story that Adai Makwa and the rest sending him to court. They say Moro Egala brought him from nowhere and put him on,
in power.
In power.
Right.
And then there were these old guys and new guys fighting among themselves. So the party itself contributed to the coup. That is what I want to say.
Did you believe it, or you are saying in actual sense that they actually contributed to the coup?
Yeah, by the way I was explaining that they were making it difficult for him to govern. I didn't see Liman, but this is what these three gentlemen came and told me.
Which is Akatapore?
Yes, and Chris Atim, and including Rollins, which they are still alive. If they are very sincere and honest with themselves, they will come up and either verify what I'm saying or substantiate it or deny it. But this is what happened. So we were to take power and give it back to Liman. And so on that day...
Did it make sense to you?
It didn't make sense, but from the way they narrated it, that he was just a figurehead. And
why did you believe them?
Well, I believe it because at that time, like I said, I was so close to Rollins that whatever he said, I believe him.
Was it not on the point that he actually misled you to believe that the Fantis wanted to take over the government of Liman, and you were not now, and therefore you bought the idea?
Yes, and then other factors like they tried to poison Imoro Gala, you see. So it was like their party, Liman's party, was crumbling. And so that is exactly the only way to salvage him.
Were you fighting in the interest of where you were coming from? On that basis, were you just fighting to defend the ethnicity of Liman being the northern power in the country? Were you fighting to defend that?
To an extent, because it was not easy for a northerner to become a president at that time. We were used as underdogs. So this was the first time a northerner was on top. And so we, the northerners, thought that we could protect him. And so I was convinced that, no, we have to be able to defend our own kind.
That is your own justification?
Yes, that is my opinion.
Tell me, when you were in the process of taking over, okay, a lot of people were killed. Your own comrades, your own friends,
yes,
families, children.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to them when you should be protecting their interest?
Well, the problem is that in war, you have
you call it war?
Well, because it was when going to take it by force.
Okay.
And in the process, there must be some kind of casualties. So it could be from any side.
Is that how you guys are trained in the army?
No, we're not trained. It was at that time what we call youthful exuberant, because the 4th June had just died out, and because it was just 3 months, we saw it that no, this is what we call a way forward for the government to move. In addition to this northern factor, we were thinking that it was only Rollins who could protect Le Mans' interest, because he made it possible for Le Mans to, win, because during the election, they made sure that it was fair. Otherwise, the Victor Usu party were going to rig it, according to Rollins, who told me their story. And then, in addition to that, when he was handing over to Le Mans, if you heard, he said that your government is under probation, you see. And so he was still going to Le Mans and, listening to him, and Le Mans was taking his advice until the time that Fulera Le Mans saw that he was playing games. And that is the time that I'm sure he was not giving Rollins a face. But then Rollins came to tell us also about other things that, in a way, he couldn't complete the revolution because he went to Cuba. And when he came back, I was there. He and Boachijan, they nearly exchanged fire. Boachijan bodyguards and Rollins bodyguards at Arakan Barracks. Because Boachijan and his colleagues, Batch and Four, Mensa Bedima, they have already signed the handing over, and Rollins was not happy. So today, I would say that we were being manipulated to join this.
Were you under any influence of drugs or alcohol or anything at that point? Because it baffles me to understand why a boy of such young age will want to now get into such a huge revolution. Yeah, that you didn't even know you were going to come back.
No, because Rollins was giving us this kind of socialist books.
He was giving you socialist books
to read.
In your book, you made mention that his last words to you before you actually started it was that, "Gentlemen, from now, you are all going to prosper." Did you believe that?
Yeah, I believe him.
Were you coming from a very poor background?
No, but at least I didn't get those privileges that under normal circumstances, we could have gotten.
What privileges were you looking for?
A car loan, for instance.
You had a Peugeot.
No, that was after the revolution.
Yes. So that is all you were looking for, a car?
Yeah, to also drive, and then what we call food, clothing, and shelter. Which
I quite remember he flew you over Nima,
yes,
and airport residential, and made
reference that
to
the workers, I should just look at Nima, and they were just from the area, they were just dotted huts, and then
why did he just get interest in you?
Because we were very, very closer, and he saw that I was the one who was having influence on the boys. We normally play football every weekend, basketball, and this horse riding. And I was not married at that time, so when we finished, we organized some food at my house, and all of them come to eat. So he knew that from me, I could be able to recruit the boys.
You were also very particular in your book about how you were good in shooting.
Yes, I was a marksman at that time.
You speak profoundly about it. Do you take delight in killing?
No, not killing, but as a soldier, we were trained to kill. But not in peacetime, but when there is a danger. So that is our profession. Just like the one who is selling a casket. He doesn't want somebody to die, but that is his profession.
1982 came into effect.
Yes.
A lot of people were killed.
Yes.
A lot of people, including your own friends.
Yes.
At some point, you got to understand that Rollins had lied to you almost at the failure of that revolution.
Yes.
You discovered.
He did, yes.
He misled you.
Yes.
Why did you still carry on with the act?
Well, when we discovered that he lied to us, we were trying to topple him, which I said in the book, 28th. But then it was not a exactly to discontinue the revolution, because the revolution was divided into two fronts when he came. First, when he didn't hand over to Liman, I took a quarrel with him.
Right, and you arrested him.
That is later on.
Yeah.
Yes, when he wanted to run away during the fight.
Exactly.
And then I was the one who led the whole show to the broadcasting house, and then took over power. He was then stationed at the Sankara Square.
You know what I still am failing to understand is, he misled you.
Yes.
He told you a whole lot of lies.
Yes.
You discovered it.
Yes.
Listen, this man is trying to get the very man I'm fighting for to stay in power out of power. You still carried on with the action and still escorted him to broadcasting to make that announcement. Why did you still support him from that point? Why didn't he remain, even though your colleagues pleaded on his behalf, thinking you were going to kill him? Why did you still support him?
Because I thought that maybe, in a way, he may change his mind and then release Liman. In the sense that Liman, if you realize, Liman didn't want to run away when the 31st came. And Rollins' first words were, I made him to, that what about Liman? Because when I took the broadcasting house, then I signaled that they should bring the prisoner. But then I made Jiwa to arrest him and lock him in the ammo car. And then when I say he should come, I asked him, okay, he should tell the nation about Liman. So his first words were that nobody to touch Liman's hair. And so if you realize Liman didn't want to go out, because that is where I believe that in a way he had a knowledge. It was when Captain Chikata came into the scene that his handlers advised him to leave the country. And when he was going, he was arrested somewhere at this thing, Eastern region, some barrier there.
Because you never made mention of what happened to him in your book.
Yes, but that is exactly what happened. So Liman, when they arrested him, Rollins didn't do anything to him. So I asked him, what about Liman? You said this and that and that. He said, oh, if he didn't have anything to hide, why should he run away or attempt to run away? So we should leave him. So from that point, I saw that no, this thing will not work. But still, people like Krisatim, Akatapore, Kwesiadu, and all those boys said that if we are able to, bring these resources together, we have gold, we have diamond, we have bauxite, we have manganese, we have timber, whatever it is, arid land or, we'll be able to, bring all this kind of progress or paradise we're hoping. And unfortunately, we also bought into that, because if you realize the revolution at that time was divided into two. Rollins and his group going to the IMF and these socialist boys. So we were hanging with these socialist boys to see whether still we can do something about the whole thing. Because it was Ghana first. And so if...
Are you sure it was Ghana first?
Yes, after that, when this thing didn't work, because the students all left the schools and they were carrying cocoa. The workers, even President Kufuor, he joined the revolution, Bar Association. Everybody was interested, Father Damois and the rest. Everybody thought that, yes, okay, whatever the situation was, let's come together and see whether we can propel this nation. And so things were going on all right until the judges' matter came. And that is where the front was divided.
What happened to those judges?
Those judges were picked up under the instruction of Rollins. I must be frank. There was a meeting, and almost all the members knew about that they were going to be arrested, except Brigadier Nunu Mensah at that time, Chris Atim, and Father Damois. The rest all knew that they were going to be arrested. But as for the killing, I cannot say it is Rollins or it is another person who did it, or the wife. But then the keys, the keys to the car was given to Amatekwe by Rollins' wife. And the car was stationed at Rollins' house 2 weeks before the operation. So what evidence do you need again? And they were pick up. Curfew time will know that nobody goes out unless you are these paramilitary people, ambulances, or you have a curfew pass.
Right. Coming to talk think, you talking about the 4 judges. There are names
3 and 1.
Three
plus
judges
the retired
and
major.
then retired major. Jano, Jandu, Teko, Senya, Amatekwe.
And America.
And America.
Yes.
Who later escaped into exile.
Yes.
They were used as scapegoats.
Yes.
But in your book, you also made mention that there was a news that came to Rollins where he popped champagne.
Yes.
And is that what triggered you to think he was involved in the killing?
Yes, I believe it. Because what I saw was that Brigadier Nunu Mensah, he told Amatekwe to go and release them. And then he said that he has dispatched them. You see?
Why were they killed?
They were killed because, like I said, this indemnity clause thing. After 4th June, Rollins and his group said that nobody should appeal the sentences of the AFRC convicts. And this appeal court judges, 3 of them said, no, this was wrong. So let us look at it again. Even Dr. Leman was afraid to open that case. And then, when they look at it, some of them were freed or some of them were given lower sentences. And that made them to be offended that, hey, we have made a law. Why do you people go and do it? And that is why. As for the major was the one who was personnel. He was working at Jihawk, where Amatekwe was working at Tema, Jihawk. And he was picked up because when Amatekwe and the workers marched from Tema to Parliament House to 10 tables and they ate their lunch, you remember that a board of inquiry was formed, and that major was sitting on the board, and he recommended that Amatekwe and some of them should be sacked. And so Amatekwe, they added him. So it was this AFRC convicts which were, that was the main problem, and that's why they caught them. But in addition to that, other people too were going to be picked up. There were about 250. So Flight Lieutenant Doyle was the security coordinator stationed at State House. I went to him with Panama. We talk about it. He said, no. This was not the meaning. They were going to be picked and then locked, not to be killed. But they asked to the kill, and I'm saying that it came from Rollins and the wife, you see, particularly because he popped champagne. Do you pop champagne to celebrate, or do you pop champagne when somebody, you are mourning somebody, the death of somebody? They come and tell you that they have despised them, meaning they have killed them. Then you go and bring champagne, a passion, and start drinking. What does that signal? The wife was wearing white. You see? All these things came to light. So that is how I can conclude it, that they were killed because Rollins and his wife wanted to avenge why they have given a law and then it was tampered with. During
all the time you thought you were going to prosper, Rollins misled you, according to yourself.
Yeah.
And the rest, including Nakatapori.
Yeah.
You had him on numerous occasions where you could have taken him out of government.
Yeah.
Why did you still allow him to stay in? By also listening to Akatapori, why didn't you turn him over? Why didn't you say, we want a probably new government to be formed, get Rollins out of there, and form a new government? Why couldn't? Because at one point, you bashed into the State House, met Rollins, and he was shivering, according to yourself.
Yeah.
However,
the castle.
However, and you made mention to, is it Awuni?
Yeah, Baba Awuni, Captain Baba Awuni.
You told him you could have been the head of state. Did you believe you could have been the head of state?
Yes, I could have been the head of state even I took over the broadcasting house, remember?
Right.
And then I signaled that they should bring him. So I could have announced for myself. But to be very sincere and honest with you, I didn't know what to do. You see, if
But you had Dumakunya Mitchell with you. You had so many people with you. Why couldn't you probably, because the man had lied to you.
Yes.
He had misled you into this chaotic situation where people were killed.
That is
Your
true.
own friends, you saw
Yes,
them.
yes.
Including innocent people.
That is true.
Why didn't you rethink the situation?
Yeah, at a point we were trying to do it, and then it didn't work. 28 October, we were trying to shoot him up. And then one guy who is still with them now, Rollins was bringing some of the gold from Obuasi. And then we put the cascavel and mounted it towards the helicopter. So one of the boys who was with us, he told another guy, and then they told Rollins, and Rollins just flew the helicopter. When he was coming, he flew it and went and landed at Air Force. So that was one point. Then another point, we try again. We tried several times to get him. But you see, with this thing, if you do it with others, it will leak. I could have gone to do it myself, or like 2-3 people. But immediately you broaden it, it will get leaked. That is the unfortunate thing about these things.
In your book, you also made it quite obvious. You were the most feared person by Rollins
Yes.
in the army. Is that the case?
Yeah, that is the case, because I was the person who drove him from this thing, 37 Military Hospital. How he came to power, it was the late Atta, the mortuary man. Mm-hmm. That is where Rollins met me and Bafa, and I took him in an ambulance. We were going through Elwak, the ambulance put the siren, ping pong, ping pong, ping pong. Then when we reached the Reki regiment, the MRS, then we diverted to where the electricity is. And then I put him in my room. So from my room, I was able to organize the rest to the assembly area. An assembly area is where troops assemble to give orders. So I sent him there, and the rest came and joined. And I was the one who led him to seize the ammo cars. And I was the one who was the first person to release the shot, you see. And I was the one who led him to go and then see whether we can take Le Mans to the broadcasting to announce. Unfortunately, when we reached there, Le Mans has gone, you see. So he feared me because I didn't just plan it, but I was active in everything.
Are you taking all the glory?
No, I can't do it without my friends. Actually, Adumaku Nyamiche, as you said, there were Erika Sare, there were Brahma, there was Baba Kankani, Akadema, there were Ato Wusu, Adam Sake, or the Reiki boys. We did it.
You are quite good in remembering all those people.
Yes, yes.
Instances where you were ordered to kill a lot. I remember in your book you were supposed to lie people down and run them over by their waists with an ammo car. You refused to do that.
Yes.
Why didn't you do the same thing for a lot of people that were killed? Why didn't you put them in prison or something else? Why did you kill so many people?
Well, to be very sincere with you, during the shooting, I cannot say I didn't kill, because it's either you kill or be killed during the fighting. Because don't forget that it wasn't just a ride over. There was a lot of resistance. First came the military intelligence. They were following us just like that, trailing us. And then from time to time, we'll stop there and deflate their cars and collect their keys. Then it came other units like engineer regiment. And then we went to brigade when Major Nantoma, the late, he was firing the Kagu staff himself. And then we went to Mass. And this Kenneth Jukonuku, he deployed the military academy, those who were under training. So we had it very, very tough. And so in that instant, I can't say I didn't kill anybody, because if you don't shoot, you'll be shot. But after the revolution, I can swear to my Number God, that I've never killed anybody with the rifle, apart from the fighting. Yes, but there were other killings. People settled scores. And Rollins himself, he settled scores, which we know.
When you last met Rollins, before the RNC,
Yeah.
The
National Reconciliation.
Yeah, before the reconciliation meeting. Before that, I'm talking about just
Yes.
after the revolution. You met him?
Yeah, I met him.
And you were incarcerated again. You got arrested.
Yes.
And the whole army stood behind you.
Yes.
For you to be released, or else
they will move.
Exactly. Why didn't you allow them to do that?
Well, it was one Captain Babawoni, as I said, and then one Major Yache, because they were Northerners. They thought that they could talk us down. So they took me with helicopter. It was this man, Brigadier Kwenu, and the rest. Sent me to them. Colonel Yache, he was 5BN commander. And so he appealed to me that it is better for us to talk rather than take over, because everybody was ready. So when I went there, I wanted to move them and Captain Babawoni. And that is why last minute, Captain Babawoni followed me. If he and the colonel, or they follow us to the prison, because they have let us down. Even when they were coming to arrest us, we wanted to fight. And then, I mean, including Saya Akatapore, he was saying we should stop. We were ready. Even Baba, when he was ready that we should fight, when they were coming, we deployed ready. So that is what happened. And I couldn't do otherwise, because I was always, the problem with me, I like discipline, so I try to listen to my superiors.
What has happened to Akatapore now?
Akatapore, the last time I met him, he was in Ghana. He's maintaining a low profile because he doesn't want to, he wants sleeping dogs to lie. But I told him that unless this matter is brought up, we cannot put it under the carpet, because the Northerners, they don't want to see some of us. It was recently through this thing, a nephew I'm living with. He is bringing me towards the Northerners. When they see me, they want to scheme me why I have to overthrow my own brother. So I'm privileged to be here to explain that I didn't start it, but I was brainwashed. And when I saw it was too late, I wanted to take action. And that is why, since from there, I never stopped fighting. I was in there, and June 19th, I was the guy who started planning it before we went to the broadcasting house, and then things fucked up. And when we went to exile, I came back again with Validu Jiwa them, and they were caught.
Okay. On whose orders was Lieutenant Asare executed?
It was Rollins.
On Rollins'?
Yeah.
Why what I still cannot contend is the killings. Why? He's in power already. People have surrendered. You've taken over. You've formed government that was ruling. Why the ongoing killing?
Well, on the part of Lieutenant Asare, they were actually coming to take over at the broadcasting.
Okay.
He came with that Rollins said he should come and take over the command. And so the boys there, Ajekum, Awene, Adumakunyamiche was there, and then America was there, Matthias Kujo, and the rest. So they arrested him. That how? Who were the people who brought about the revolution with Father Buga and the rest? And so we are guarding here. Rollins said you should come, and he didn't tell us. So they escorted him to the Gonda Barracks. And then they said, did you ask this officer to come and take over? So Rollins asked him, officer, am I the one who asked you to go and take over? He was there. I say, did I ask you to go and take over power at the broadcasting house, command? And so when the officer didn't talk, he said, people like this, What do you do with them? Take him away. By that, it translates to mean that they should go and kill him.
Who killed him?
Well, it was, it's difficult.
Did you kill him?
No, I didn't.
Who killed him?
It was Ali Dujiwa, but he's also dead now. Yeah.
Are we trying to put every sort of
Dead
conviction
people
on the dead?
Dead people don't
It looks-
talk. So let's assume that he did it.
Let's assume that he did it.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's fine. In this humbling situation where you have so much regret for people that were killed during your time, at the reconciliation meeting, you have come out quite strongly and apologetic.
Yes, because I believe that I have so much blood in my hands. You see? Can you see blood?
Definitely. And is that why most of you guys tend to be pastors and
Yes,
seeking to
a lot
Christ?
of them, and a lot of because there's no day without you thinking about it, because it wasn't meant to be like that. It was meant to be a paradise on earth, like an Ethiopia. Talking about the resources we have, gold, diamond, bauxite, cocoa, and all those things. And then it was a question of mismanagement. So if these resources are properly harnessed, we would have come out to, but the whole thing was a kind of hoax. Rollins and the wife and his friends, they came to make money, as you can see today. One of the Forbes books, they say that he's one of the richest people. And then you ask yourself, people who took loan with 50 cedis and you line them up and shoot Makwele women, our mothers. 2 tins of milk, geisha, plichat, that time they called them essential commodities, were short. And today, how many houses do you have? How many cars? Talk about in Sawam, Canary. Talk about rubber plantation. Talk about the Black Star Line. And talk about what and what and what. La Palm Beach and what we don't know. Was it worth it that we took part? And that makes us to be what we are. You see that I am very, very strong now because I was able to go to the national reconciliation and I told the Ghanaians the truth, the same thing I'm telling you. And I asked them that I asked for forgiveness. And alternatively, any punishment that they deem it that I should face, I was prepared. They clap hands for me because I said the truth. I'm sorry. You can't bring these people back. What has been done has been done.
Was it televised?
Yes, it was televised.
Have you at any point met any of the civil people? I mean, your friends that you killed in the process, their family? Have you been able to meet some of them?
Yes, I met quite few, and whatever I had, I shared with them. And I said that, I even said that in future, if I'm able to put this transport business, whatever I get, we share it together. Because that is the only way I can reconcile. I cannot bring back people who have lost their lives during my action directly or indirectly. That is why I came to the NRC, to tell the truth to the whole world and ask for forgiveness. So if they were to say that hang him, I would have been prepared to be hanged. Because, yes, that is it.
Do you think you should face any punishment for, because you tend to still accept that mere apology to the people is enough?
Well, if the people of Ghana deem it fit, after me coming to the national reconciliation and narrating all these things, if they still think that that is not enough and they want to punish me, I'm ready to face any punishment.
It's a whole lot. And I think I'm quite honored to have met you. And a lot of people that have different perception about you in terms of you being a criminal, in terms of you killing willingly and in taking delight. You have the privilege to now tell them what you really think and what a good man you are.
Yes, thank you very much. Like I said, no, I have never killed anybody physically like that without any cause. But in battle, either you kill or be killed. And so I cannot say I didn't kill anybody during the fighting. On our side, we lost people during the assault to the Brokerson and other places. And then the enemy too, they lost people. But I take responsibility because I was the one who Akatapori talked to. And then I recruited the people for Rollins, and Rollins himself. And I was the one who released the first shot. So I take full responsibility. And so when the National Reconciliation came, I went there willingly, and then I stood before them. I even wanted to meet Rollins. I met Chikata, and when Chikata was trying to play game, he brought a complete lawyer, Oba Asamoah, and Asamoah was not there. Asamoah came later on. He was the workers at this thing, TEMA, this defense committee. He was a coordinator, and they rejected him. And when he came, he was wearing Wellington boots with some Chanchamba car. The Kwame Nkrumah type, no, boom, boom. I was the one who matched him to Rollins. And you are coming to tell me that you are coming to defend Kojo Chikata. And I know how Kojo Chikata's car was stolen and bent. I know the people who did the action. So what are you coming to say? And when I brought that, you say, my Lord, I rest my case, no more questions. Because if they wanted, I would have revealed the whole moon.
Moon, okay.
You see? And Rollins, he didn't come. I was there till I left. He never came, because if he came, the same moon I'll reveal. Because I know more than...
How do you feel when he actually denied you entirely? And he's not done it just at the reconciliation meeting. He's done it on several platforms.
Yes.
He said he does not know you.
Yeah, he said he does not know me because he's a coward. That's what I can say. After me doing all these things for him, he knows very well that when he meets me, I will just tell him certain things that he would like the F to open and he will enter and bury himself. And he hasn't stopped there. You see, if I were the only person that you can say that he has used, or I was being deceived, then it would be okay. You saw what happened to Aka, and you saw what happened to President Kufuor. Up to today, he has started it. He actually sent meals to his grave. You see? And when Muhammad came...
That is a serious talk.
Yes, he sent meals to his grave.
What do you mean by that?
Since he wanted the wife to stand, and when they went to Sunyani, the wife didn't win. Since then, he has never stopped condemning meals. He insulted meals everywhere, used the opportunity. The man was sick, and then he was doing his best for the country, and Rollins was on him till he died. And during the condolence, you saw what he said. It was an omen for him to die. It was God sent that Mills died early. Otherwise, the party wouldn't have been what. How can somebody say something like that? A former head of state. That's why I say he sent him to the grave.
Should Rollins have ever given you those ornaments, the gold, the diamond, because he seemed to be very particular about that, even when you were in the broadcasting station? Would you have been so much against him and his family?
Actually, that was when he said we're going to prosper. I wasn't thinking about me as a person, but the whole country. Because during that time, some of these ideas they were giving us, Chachu, Atu Austin, and the rest, they made us to believe that we have gold, we have diamond, we have bauxite, we have manganese, we have cocoa, and we have arable land. And it was only because of mismanagement. That is why we are where we are. And so if we manage these resources properly, then we will get a situation whereby it will be like here, whereby there will be a welfare state, and then the rich will also be there, pay taxes, and it will be channeled for like the private sector. And what that means is that there will be food, clothing, and shelter, not forgetting about education, which is vital for development, and health. You see, housing for the workers, not that he will give the workers money, but create conditions whereby people will not be coming here for jobs. You see, that is how I was thinking, but not individually. Because if you look at the country, it has been like that from day one. I didn't know about Kwame Nkrumah because I was very young. But much as some of the people, the head of states, were trying to do the right thing, people around them are just jostling. It's happening even right now, as you can hear news. So if we have that mentality, we are not going forward. I'm not saying that here there's no corruption, but they create the structures whereby you cannot steal for 1 or 2 years. You'll be fished out, you see. In no way, for example, the institutions are there. So if you try to drivel them, you can do it for some time, but they will bring you out. And that is what I was thinking.
Yeah, but you know, in as much as you talk so profoundly about others, Rollins is quite a prominent man who is being hailed all across the country by so many. I mean, you can agree and disagree with me that NDC will not probably come to power without the support of him. So why is it that with all the sort of atrocities he's committed, the things you allege that he's done, he still get the support?
One is because the way he was able to eliminate those who brought him to power. Not only me. It includes Akatapore, it includes Chris Atim, it includes everybody who started with him. He eliminated everybody. And so he was the Napoleon. And number two, those people, 81 to now, they were not born. A lot of the voting population. It's about 35 years. Some of them have got children. They didn't know the story. So I'm now saying that he's popular because all these people grew up to know it's only Rollins. Until some of us come out, like Nana, like me, saying that no, wait, he's what he is because he was able to silence all dissent. In Rollins' time, what Anas is doing, he can't do it. And what all those people are doing, they can't bring all these things out. And so that is where he was able to be what he is. And the second thing is that he was able to pitch one tribe against another. You see, he's a good manipulator. And he hasn't stopped up to now. You can see it for yourself.
How is he doing it now?
He's doing it because he was able to do it to Aka. He was able to do it to Kufuor, and Kufuor didn't give him a chance. When Kufuor won, in fact, he said that we shouldn't come, the exiles. Can you imagine? When Kufuor brought Sulemana, Yaya Muadini, and Major Sita, he was anointed. That was the beginning. So up to today, nobody has ever given us amnesty, let alone compensation. All those who went to exile. And I'm saying that the military intelligence, and I can say it, that day they did a very wonderful job. They were following us from beginning to the end. And these people were doing their job, fighting for the state. And you came up and locked them for 3 years. And no government has come to sincerely say that these people, let's look at it again.
You talk about amnesty and compensation. Do you really believe you should be compensated?
For me, if they don't give me, it's okay. But the soldiers who were casualties because of us, they should look at it properly, you see.
Can you name some of them?
Yes, the military intelligence. and also some of those people who went to exile because they arrested me and then they took to arms. All of them were locked, half of the Reki regiment because of me. And all these people, they haven't got compensation. So if they minus me and then they give them compensation, I'll be very, very happy because they didn't do nothing. You see? Don't forget that Kachu Chikata, Kojo Chikata and Rollins, these were only 3 people. And the military intelligence, their only crime was that they were trailing them, this kangaroo team or surveillance. And he said it, the day I will come to power, you, this military intelligence, you have to bury your heads. And true to his word, he buried them. So I feel guilty.
He buried them. Where did he bury them?
I mean by incarcerating them. He put them in prison.
Did he kill some of them?
Well, some died.
You mentioned Achimota Forest. What happened there?
What happened was that people that they didn't like, they were sending them there to kill, you see. And then we'll be there. And then they will call us that some soldiers have gone to shoot people there. And then we'll go and see the graves. And then Rolling will say we should keep quiet. There's another place called Gaddafi Camp by the airport. People were buried there. The last time I went to Ghana, I pretended as if I was a photographer. So I went to the Achimota Forest. Up to today, they haven't done anything because they know what is there. They preserve it. So I saw that they excavated some of the graves. But I know where some of these things are. So the point is I feel guilty that innocent people, not only soldiers, the 260 people who got missing, most of them are there and other places which they know, you see. That doesn't mean...
Can you tell me some of the other places?
If you are going to the range, you understand, some of them are there, that Teshi range area. And if you are going to the airport, especially the Air Force boys, they call that place Agege. They were buried there discriminately there. You see, those Air Force boys were reckless. There was even one of them who he took into his own accord, and he was shooting. So Rollins made a mistake and went and shot somebody who was related to Rollins. And then Rollins told me to go and shoot him. And I said, why? What has he done? It's called W2 Kingston or Kingsley. Kingston. Okay. So it was one Boachi who went and shot him, called Boachi of Air Force. They went to a funeral.
The killing was just too much.
It was what they call collateral. They call it collateral damage.
The Holy War?
Well, there's nothing called holy, but you can give it any name, unless otherwise you can just brainwash the people like they did to us. So they say it was holy, which it wasn't holy. It wasn't only Ashantis who died or Northerners, everyone to die. So it was across board, you see. And so it was a sad situation. But the belief was that Amachi Dede say what? Sebebe here, Sebebe Sia, baby. How do they say?
Okay.
So if nothing spoil, nothing will become okay. And so for a few people to die for us to get an Ethiopia, whereby there will be milk and honey, I think that that is how we understood it, you see. Unfortunately, it was milk and honey for Rollins, the Ahoys, the Hudu Yayas, and the rest. You can see it today. They have just said and loaded and loaded. What about the Nima people? What about
that he talked about?
Yes.
That he showed you?
Yes, they are still the same.
When you had that opportunity, why didn't you ever question him about that?
He didn't come. No, when we were there and I questioned him, he was saying that it's an ongoing process and it will take time. You see, whether he was right or I was wrong, I don't know. But today we can see the end justify the means. The people are still the same. The Choco people are still the same.
But they adore him.
Yes, because excuse me to say, 60% of the population of 50 are semi-literate. They haven't got quality education, so they can't access. And because of conditions that are not created for them to get jobs and feed their families, the little gari or what you call milk and sugar they give them,
Yeah.
if you see the trend, when it's getting to election, if you are in the fishing area, you get petrol or adbo motors. In the north, you get bicycle. And then what you call?
Would you ever consider running for any governmental position?
No, not at all, not at all.
You are tired?
No.
You are fed up?
I'm fed up because he came and then lied. And he's still doing it, as I said. You can see that all these head of state, secretly in their heart, they will be telling me, thank you.
Any other evidence to pin him down except this book?
Yeah, but I'll hold that for now, so that when, because nobody is doing anything about it, like this judges and like this gold and the rest. I went to the NRC as I am with you, and I said everything.
And nothing has been done?
Yeah, they say they leave it to their conscience.
They leave it to their conscience?
Yes.
Who said that?
It was the government of Kufo.
Okay.
When I went to testify and even met them, you see, they say
what exactly do you want to happen to Rollins for you to be at peace?
I want him to come like me and apologize and say, yes, we did them. And then we are sorry. And all that money he made, he should be prepared to admit. Because I was there and other people who were there, you go and ask those soldiers who were there. Gold was being brought and ferried to, transported to Libya. Patterson sent gold to Libya. He's still alive. Go and ask him. You see, Riyadh, he stole gold and he ran away. Ask him what happened and he came back. He stole gold. During the PNDC era, he went to Australia. Ask him. He came when this thing. Abdallah. There was one guy called Major Jaloud. He was the second in command to Gaddafi. He was coming to take the gold. And if nobody wants to investigate, you give it to the treasure hunters, Indiana Jones and his group. They will find where the treasure is. You see? So I want him to agree that he came to loot, he and the wife. In fact, I cannot hold him because, you see, after 4th June, Rollins was being retired. And when he went and sat home, don't forget that the juice was getting finished, the money. The wife too was working at UTC, and they retrenched her, and they have a child to take care. So they say, everybody, let's come back. And that's why they plotted. So, and you can see it today, they're among the richest people. While some of us, not only me, the students who were crying, let the blood flow, and all those people, they were all being
So the
used.
wife was also involved in the whole process?
Yes, the wife was involved. Yay! Wicked.
You call them wicked?
Very wicked.
Why?
The bodyguard, 4th June, Rollins liked this boy. He's called Anto. You know, Anto. He's a network guy. Rollins knew him when they were playing basketball. That's how he liked him. And he took him to go and guide the wife. 31st, it was the same guy Rollins chose. The wife made them to kill him.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe you know too much. You know the secrets too much. You see. Mens, it's called Mens. Ask this question, what happened? That's why I say she's wicked. So, this in Sawam Canary they are talking about, go investigate. How many houses do Achampon have? How many houses or cars did Akufo have? How many toilets did Afrifa have? Amedomi and all those people. They killed them for nothing. And today, ask, you go to Ajigano or Tefle or whatever it is, the rich, count the toilets. How many can Rollins sit inside? And this was why he was telling us. Then we say, hey. You see? So that's why I said that no, he's not fit. Because he say all these things, and then today you come and...
He should give everything he has out.
Yes.
Would you still hold grudge against him?
No. And also apologize like I'm doing for because that was not meant to be. If on the other hand, it has come out that, oh, for initiating a revolution, you go to Ghana now and see, they have free education, like Akufo-Addo is trying to do. And the workers have prefabs or houses. And the economy is booming. The health system, the education, and whatever. I don't think that Ghanaians would have forgotten about the few people who died, because we could have compensated them.
But I think that would have been the solution.
Yeah, because at least some people have to die for things to succeed.
Why didn't you ever fight to be in government with him? Since you knew he was making a lot of errors.
Well, as I said, no, I didn't consider myself to have the dynamics of ruling. I was only good in the shooting and the weapons.
Leading the whole army.
Yes, but that is, if they have given me maybe a defense minister or a general to command, I would have been okay.
Were you not ever thinking why, when he was mentioning names, your name never came up, but yet you were the one who was sent to call these people to come so that they take positions in the government?
I was the one he asked to go and bring the names.
Exactly.
And if you ask, Akatapore, one Sergeant Donko Alala, when we were going for him, he ran away. He jumped the window. And when we finished, he now came up and said we should put his name. Rolling just look at him and cancel it. And Father T, he canceled it. All those people who never fought. I like I said, no, I didn't fight because I wanted power. Based on the assumption that we were going to have a paradise. I was thinking that if everything is okay, I don't need anything, but just to see growth. And up to today, you saw that you met me in Ghana. I was walking alone. Anywhere I go, you see them, they try to threaten me. And I say, look at what they are doing. Why don't you just take my life? Because the information is already out. You see, you would rather make me a martyr. They tried to worry me these 6 months I was there. But then, I don't care, because in my conscience, I feel guilty that what we stood for never materialized. It wasn't meant. That is why I didn't take power. Because there was nothing. Even if I wanted a second command, I would have gotten it. Because I did everything for him, from A to Z. Up to the time one Colonel Ofosu appeared from Tubian, he brought troops. That time, them, they were broadcasting. They positioned the mortars at Kanda, and they shelled the broadcasting. They zoom in. They were now advancing to this thing, Gonda Barracks, when we crashed them at the 37 runabout. I had a friend, he's called this thing, Isufu. He was shot just by me. You understand? He was shot. And the guy who shot him is here today, you see.
Who is that?
It's called Dugan, Captain Dugan, you understand? He was shouting, Dugan is me. Bam. Da, 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 da. So all these things, they haunt me.
How do you sleep at night?
Well, I try to do my best, you see.
Do you hear voices?
No, I don't hear voices. But anytime, I think that, was it worth it? Because like I said, no, even when I go to Ghana, I drive myself, trotro, and the police, MTT, they stop. And when they are telling me, bring 20, I just say, look, these people, today, somebody who should have been a general, you are taking money from me. And they never know me, some of them. How they will me, you see. So I feel very, very disappointed, you understand. I comport myself to abide this. I've been to Ghana 2 times, last year and last 2 years. I try to comport myself, but I've seen that, no, the situation is more worse than we thought. And so the aim of this interview is to try to, the youth who were not born. Now they are all advocating that they need change, they need change. Oh, Rollins, like you said, they want. But I am advising them that the consequences is what we got.
What political party do you belong to?
Well, I belong to MPP. That doesn't mean that it's because of MPP I'm doing that.
Because someone might be saying you are speaking profoundly of MPP and yet criticizing Rollins. Some of the good works he's done, some bad, some good.
No, not that. Rollins' time.
Do you believe he did anything good in Ghana?
Yeah, he did some things that's good. Like he tried to decentralize the district system. And then I've seen that there are changes, because even the village I went to Navrongo, my town, I've seen that there are changes there.
And you hail Rollins for that?
Yeah.
You commend him for it?
Yes, because at least you could see that so many things, the power have gone down to the district level and the rest. So he has done good things, but then the bad things he has done are more than the good things. That is why. I'm not saying he's a bad man. When he went in exile, there was this woman called Mrs. Tamakulu. Most of the boys that, because of me, they asked me, please, talk to Rollins. I wrote 3 letters to him to try to give us amnesty, because these boys want to come home. Mrs. Tamakulu went to and said that Rollins said he will look into it. Another one called Control, the bodyguard. He went to see Rollins. He said, the security services will give us amnesty. You see? 3rd time, until he lost power. So it was under MPP that I came to Ghana. And because of that, I'm thankful. That's why I'm supporting them. But that doesn't mean if they do wrong, I won't criticize, because I am for the betterment of Ghana.
Would you ever want to meet him again?
Rollins?
And rekindle your lost friendship?
Yes, if he is prepared to be honest and sincere and admit the charges I'm leveling against him. Because I was there. That is why I wanted to meet him Philly. He was eye to eyeball. I said it at the NRC that Rollins should come. And he said he needed chemical, interrogation.
What? He needed what?
Some chemical interrogation, this equipment. Like those things they do in the US, no?
Okay.
They put those things whether you are telling lies or no.
Okay.
And I say, okay, they should go and bring it. Okay. Lie detector. I said they should bring it and I'm ready. He never came. Like everybody will see that, yes, Chikata was brave to come. But when we started, they were telling lies. And when I started going at a certain point, they got to know that, no, hey, if they don't stop, this man, he will useless us.
I understand. Your campaign for the truth to be told. What do you think should happen to him?
Well,
because it looks like nothing can happen to him.
Yes, nothing can happen to him because, like I'm saying, when Rollins came to power, he took time to break everything down. And then he built it from the grassroots. The boys' company, you see, a majority of them has brought him. I remember Dominic, I remember Kwesi Bochwe, Isaac Bochwe, I remember a lot of them, half of them. Together with Adumako Nyamiche and the Reki boys, we brought him. The first official business was to close the boys' company. Then the military intelligence, these were people doing their job. He break them down, he dismantled it, and he built it from the scratch. The special branch, which is now the BNI, he break it down. And so nothing can happen to Rollins, because if you go everywhere, he's not in power, but his people are still in power. Whether it's at the airport security, whether it's at the armed forces. 2 years, there was no recruitment. He built all the generals, 90% are Rollins people. The customs, Rollins people. DVLA, lances of, these are Rollins people. So nobody can do Rollins anything until you dismantle those things. I'm very, very, very honest with you. He broke everything down and he built it. So that is why nobody can do him anything. He's not in power, but his structures are still in power.
You think his structures is hindering the...
Yes. Most of this development, I'm not saying that it's all of them. You understand? If you see his own NDC, which is my testimony, they are trying to do away with him because the man have power. but they don't know what to do. So they are trying to malign him. And like I'm saying that I am not the only one. Go back to history. Victor Smith and whatever, who started with him, the latest editions. Today, they are against Rollins. So that is his, what you call his trademark. You understand? It's power, 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 and power. Rollins is the Almighty. His word is final.
Great. When his words, and that is what you believe?
Yes, according to, because I work with him and I know it.
When I met you in Ghana, we had a very nice chat. I won't disclose the location. However, you sent, it seemed that everywhere you are, it seems to be some sort of danger around.
Yes.
I had to increase my own security.
That is it.
Why?
Why? Because...
Why are you still doing it? A lot of your colleagues have, they say, let the sleeping dogs lie. Yeah. Why do you still want to campaign for it? Not knowing well, nothing can happen to him.
Yes, because I'm guilty. Like I said, no, I have blood in my hands. So these people, whether directly or indirectly, they are forcing me to say things.
Who are forcing you?
Like those people who have lost their lives through my indirect actions. They are forcing me. It's like something is forcing me that, look, you started this thing, so you must fight for us. We know you are not guilty. That was not meant to be. So continue. Everywhere I go, that day you saw that it was not easy for me.
Yeah, it was quite a heavy atmosphere.
Yeah, they came there sharp. People that I was there, and they know very well that they are implicated in some of these things. They send them to come and cool me down. I go to the beaches. Oh, the last time even they trapped me was when you came to town. Yeah. I was in the beach, and after swimming, like good time. So I saw these girls who were chatting. Not knowing that these girls, they set me up. And then when I was going, before I reached my place, police, 2 cars with a backup, they collected my bag. They searched and they searched and they searched. They couldn't get anything. And they were still searching. Things I were even buying for Norway, the toilet roll, they dismantle it. The coffee, they remove it. Milo, they open everything. So when they finished, I asked the officer, why? Why me? Why this? They say, we are acting on this thing, information. It means, then I look back and say, those girls, they set them on me. But what they were looking for, I don't know. So they tried me a lot of, couple of times to harass me. But I've seen that the more they do that, the more I come. Because the only thing you can do is to take my life.
Is that what you want to happen to you?
Yes, if that will appease the people who have died.
What about your family?
Well, my family, God being so good, I brought some to Norway. And home, like I said, from day one, they knew I was fighting and I was going to die. Like I said, I didn't just start 31st, but the June 19th, you see, I spearheaded it. And then the Jiwa operation, the Goka brothers. My family knew that in the process I can lose my life. But
nobody stopped you?
No, because they know where I come from. My bimpa, I shouldn't say my bin.
Really?
I'll tell you. My bin to say, Nana. Is
that why you were almost shot twice?
Yeah, I didn't go where I come from. Maybe now they listen. Over the years, because of social vices, those things are limited. But those times, Rollins said no. When the bullets are coming, you see me charging. And that is why I said that you fear me. At the Air Force there, I was charging with Jiwa. There's another one called Ajekum, who were the 3 generals, you understand, who led with all these Reiki boys. In fact, they did, some of them did good jobs. But when they were looking up to us to give the go-ahead that let's move, especially the time hands up in when he said we should run away. Because he told us, Le Mans was involved, you asked us to start this thing, so if we had given out, they would have shot us. That is the truth. So let's see the action, even if we die in battle, at least we have this honor. They will give us at least the beagle last post. So that is why my family, they know I've been to Lamakara, they know I've been to this thing, Burkina Faso before. In fact, before we even started the revolution, I told Rollins he should let me go and say goodbye to my mother. And then after that, I went and fortified myself, you understand? So I believe that these things help me.
What do you do for a living now?
Well, I'm working with an NGO in Norway.
Okay.
Yes, helping immigrants. And then I'm trying to establish this trotro business in Ghana. I have also an NGO there, people who have lost their parents, orphanage and this. So I'm just trying to do that and help. So in about 3 months, I hope to go back and see that this trotro business is running. So that is what I'm trying to do.
I'm ever thankful for your time.
Thank you very much.
It was an honor meeting you in Ghana.
My pleasure, sir.
Through all the battles, we survived.
Yes, yeah.
You should actually advise me next time when we're meeting that I need to double my security.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was quite a...
Yeah, tense.
A heavy,
very. Yes, that's true. Yeah, we have to.
But I think, Nane's government is doing quite well, and I'm sure... Have you been invited?
No, but at least by giving me that atmosphere to establish my business, which is transport, what we call foreign direct investment. If I can also contribute my quota, I think that it will be okay. And I encourage some of my colleagues to do that. Do your little part, and if the government say, come and work with us, it's okay. But don't wait for the government to come and say, come and we'll give you this.
Would you stop the campaign against Rollins?
Well, I will never stop till he come out to apologize and admit to his crimes.
You are indeed a general.
Thank you very much, sir.
Never stop in battle.
Yes, sir.
Well, you heard it all from the man, Mr. Matthew Adebuga. I call him the general, the man. He's told us a lot today, but you will be having more of his story in his book, Rollins, Murder and His Lies, which will be available very soon online and on our website. That's the book, so stay tuned for it. And join us same time next week. Thank you and goodbye.
My pleasure, sir. Thank you.